Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Front Door Show. It's a little after 8 o'clock, 8:05. We had a little technical difficulties here to get on the show. And today it is, wow, June 5th already, and it's Friday night. So we're in, and we're coming to you long distance, actually. My guest today is DJ Brandon Joyner. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm fine. I'm alive. Let's put it that way. That's
Yep.
the best part about it. So what I like to do with my guests that come on the show here is I I like to get you guys to give a little introduction about yourself just before, so in case the people who are listening and stuff like that,
Sure.
they don't know who you are. So tell them who you are and kind of give your spiel, website, blah blah blah. Everything.
Name's Brandon Joyner. I handle all the salsa events in Omaha. I got started DJing when I was in the Navy. I local stepped in Spain, opened up a small little place and got salsa going there in Cadiz in Spain, in the local bar name called Malecon in Punta de San Felipe, which is, it looks like Cuba if you look like it if you look at it on the map of Spain. Been DJing since roughly 2000, since the 2000s. Like I said, I started off with the local in Spain, and then I moved back to the United States in 2005. And then I started working on getting people acclimated to salsa here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I've DJ'd everywhere in Omaha, Nebraska. Harris Casino, every bar, local bar, and it's been a long ride, good ride, and people are loyal supporters, and everything's been going good. And kind of helps also that I teach salsa, but it's a never ending and an amazing task to be able to provide social venues for people to dance. I think that's a big part of it. I know when I first moved here, I was like, well, if there's no instructors here, you know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose of a venue? Because you have to feel like you need to give people a foundation and introduce them to the music. I think they go hand in hand.
All right, so let's be clear about something. Was there a salsa community before you over there?
There was another person from Panama, Andy Flores, and he was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he did a once a month social in the Red Lion, which is a hotel here. Was a hotel here, and he's probably the first person that started doing big dances, big socials, and then it kind of took off from there.
All right, so and let me understand the makeup
Okay.
of Nebraska or the community out there. What would you consider as far as is it Latino? I mean, because of salsa, is it what's the
There's Latinos. We have Latinos from every country here that are, that work in Nebraska, and all the big companies here, like it's a big network, like Mutual of Omaha, ConAgra, all these companies. What's amazing is when I started DJing and teaching, all those big companies have their, what would you call it? They have an inside, like a newspaper and stuff like that. And luckily there was a thing called Bridge of Americas, where probably all the heavy hitters from different corporations and stuff, that they get together, the Latinos. And luckily all those people worked in the various corporations here in Nebraska. So it worked out good because we met once a month, and that was a good way of acclimating people to salsa. publicly, you know, through social media and everything like that. But it really works when you have an inside people, you know, from like different departments, multicultural departments, and that's a huge uh, thing. I mean, that catapulted salsa into a very big deal here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Um, Before you mentioned that you did in 2000 in Spain.
Mhm.
Um, were you DJing anything else? Any other kind of music? I mean, or did you?
No. I started DJing when I was in Spain. I was stationed in Panama, and when the base closed, I moved to Spain and brought my salsa with me. And the Spanish people take salsa very seriously. It's amazing how, you know, how, because their music is like flamenco and sevillana, but they really take hold to salsa music. They love Cuban salsa music. Like, it's unreal, the passion they have for music, and dance in general, you know. Celia Cruz had a big base there in Sevilla with Lola Flores, one of the most famous flamenco dancers. And she actually has a club called Sevilla Salsa. And the community there was really good too. The person that kind of put all the salsa stuff on the map in Spain, his name's Lazaro, he's Cuban. He had a bar. One of his friends had a bar, and he did a lot of really good things with salsa, with Casino Rueda, and then I added the rest of the, you know, the different genres of music, and it was really good. I mean, I can't find the words to say how big salsa is in Spain.
It's huge. I mean, it's still huge.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know. I mean, I would say 1 in 25 people in Spain dance salsa, and they know about, you know, to me, a big part of it, I think a salsero is not just a dancer, it's also somebody that enjoys the music and knows the music. You know, that's how it gets bigger and bigger.
Well, you're talking about educated, right?
Yeah.
Educated.
Yep.
Okay, that's
To me, salseros aren't just people that dance, you know.
right. They're educated in the sense of, you know,
Very well educated.
right, and to know the difference between that style and that style. So I just want to make sure that that
And
understood.
that's very important too. You know, I just think, you know, as a whole, something that I've always told other DJs and other people that have a love for salsa that want to get started in the industry is the biggest thing. DJing salsa is not just putting CDs in a CD player in a bar. You have to get to know people, know what people like, play things they like, and the biggest thing is play danceable music. I always tell DJs, you know, young up and coming budding salseros, you know, like, the music that you like, play that at home and focus on the people and remember those requests and speak to them when they come in the bar with your music. You know, that's a big thing. You don't have to communicate with somebody. If when you get to know the people that are supporting you and the people that are dancing, you know what they like. And when you get really good, they can be putting on their jacket and leaving, and you can make them take their jacket back off.
Right. And you know, and just to be fair with you know, in the States here compared to Spain,
Mhm.
you mentioned about the education aspect of it. And we're not talking education just in the sense of what it is, it's also
Right,
history aspect, the history
right.
of the salsa. They know their music, and they know where it's from, and they know whose grandfather made it, whose brother
It's
made
it's
it.
it's it's crazy because, you know, we're old school and we're very familiar with things, but when you take dancers and they can tell you a song that's from the 70s and they're 23 years old and they know who's playing the conga or who's playing the maracas or who's in the chorus, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, there were very few DJs here in Chicago that were like that. And honestly, there was a guy named Luis Roland Rivera, Carlos Lattiati. There's very educated, even Eddie Mosquito Cruz. There were Frankie J. You know, he's
Mhm.
one of the guys who just he knows his stuff. You know, and I know that's important. I mean, so a little bit of the obvious is, do you speak Spanish?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Por supuesto.
Okay, so you're way above me, you know, because you know I don't speak Spanish. But so
That's
listening.
one of the things that, like, when I first met you, it's like the way that you talk through music. Remember, you always get on me because it's crazy. I start talking to you in Spanish.
So no, and we'll talk about when we first met, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that as well. But so I just I find it amazing. So, were you originally born in Nebraska?
No, I was born in Hamilton, Ohio. Well, my father's from Panama.
Okay, all right. So, why Nebraska?
Um, Happened to be where my mother moved, and
Okay, all right.
I went to high school here. And as soon as I got out of high school, I joined the Navy.
Okay,
Um, did a little bit, probably about 5 or 6 years in Virginia, and then when I went back to Panama, it was my calling in the sense of, so many things I could tell you that I took for granted being there and living there when it comes to music, salsa music, for example, like, before I moved to Spain, because we have a wide vocabulary of music, but it's like you go to a gas station in Panama and they have uh, the whole Grand Combo collection of music, but you look at it every day and you never mess with it. And then, later on, you realize when you're in another country, it's like, man, I had access to this. And that's in regards to when I started DJing in Spain, and you're trying to get music, right? And then it's like out of print, right? Or especially with uh, a big thing with casino dancers, when it comes to music, I don't think they understand how much we have to put into providing the way the music and stuff like that. Because as a DJ, like when I lived in Spain, a lot of groups that are not in the United States, it's you get the music back then when Castro sends it. You see what I mean? So I
right.
got very, very well, like on first name basis with the people at Discarga,
Right.
and
Okay.
we worked tremendously together, and they provided all the music for me. You know what I mean? And sometimes they, got to the point where they're explaining, hey, they're gonna send it when they send it. You know, um, I have a huge record collection too. I used to go when I moved back here from Spain. I used to take trips to New York, and I would go to New York and Brooklyn and like Delancey, and so I go to like Bates Records, right? But at that time in the 2000s, they weren't really selling records. But what I would do is he knew I was a DJ, and he would when I go there, he would turn me on to people like that are moving out of the houses and they have these record collections, or people that want to sell records,
Right.
like
Right.
2 or 3 trips. I mean, I just take the clothes on my back and all my bags were for records. And I met a guy from Puerto Rico. Um, he was probably in his 70s on one of my ventures. And he said, yeah, I have records. And he took me to his house, and he had records underneath the couch in the kitchen cabinets and everything. The first record I pulled out was The Big Break from Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe when they were like 17. There's only 400 of those that were printed, and he had one. The copy I have is the only one I've ever seen. And when he put it in my hands, I just started shaking, and I was just like, this could put your grandkids through through college, I was like, I can't take this. But he was like, I know that you are going to spread the word. I see your passion and your love for music. And I would rather give this to somebody, that is going to do something with it and educate people on salsa. Even because I was gonna had a I had a business plan. I was going to open up a club here, and the biggest person on salsa memorabilia is in New York, which is Izzy Sanabria, and he's got the posters from like when salsa was in the Palladium and stuff like that. When the posters were like 5 cents and stuff. He's got all the molds. So all these people, when I came back from Spain, in my travels, I met, and it's just been a blessed journey. You know what I mean? Like, I've met some really good people. Like the records, I gave him every dime I had for those records because they're just like historic records. You know what I mean? Like the live in the Cheetah Hall, when they did it in Yankee Stadium, Fania All Stars, and a lot came with culture. As I sat down and talked to this guy, and like if you ever look at the Fania All Stars live in at Yankee Stadium, a lot of people don't understand the culture and how big salsa was. Salsa was very Latinos love salsa music, but there was an issue with religion, and that's kind of held salsa back for so long before it exploded in New York. And
Well, no, I tell the story about Arsenio Rodriguez.
oh yeah,
So I tell the story, just in case anybody never heard the story. Randy, I don't know if you ever heard the story. When he was in Cuba, and he would go into the breakdown, we in playing,
right,
he would yell out Diablo.
yeah.
and the church kind of like, yo, you can't be saying that, like that. So that he changed, instead of Diablo, he changed it into Mambo. That's how come he came up with the word Mambo.
I'd say what really broke salsa, where people started spending money on albums and stuff like that, was the Hector Lavoe song Todo Poderoso. That changed the game. Like, for example, Richie Ray and Bobby Cruz were tremendous musicians and stuff like that. And there was so much religion tied to being, like going somewhere and dancing just wasn't, a big thing. Another thing, like another album he gave me was Alegre All Stars. They made 5 albums. They're black and white. I have all 5, thanks to Mr. Torres. But when I moved here and I, started meeting people through music, right? One of my best friends is from Puerto Rico. It blew his mind that I had that album because his dad, when he lived in New York, he lived in the apartment below them. The album's in black and white. And he said they would drink their rum and all that stuff and just write music. And it just took off. It's just, salsa is to me, it's a way of life. It's not just, it's not just a dance. Like it's a big part of everything I do. And one thing I learned real quick with music, with salsa music, there is a song for everything you go through in life. And that was the way in the 70s, when your mom and dad would have issues, and instead of arguing, they would play music, and you listen to the lyrics of that song, and it's for every occasion. It's amazing.
Well, I've always said that music is a healing of sorts, that it's, and maybe that's why the church had a little issue with the salsa, because probably people were spending more time with salsa instead of going to church.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, if you ever look at that, when they did the live in Yankee Stadium, everybody was against it, doing the concert there. But when you look at it, so these guys, there was only 3 or 4 record companies in New York, like Chico Records, Inca. So what happened is when Fania got started, they were selling, Ralph Mercado was selling records out of trunks. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's how they got the salsa out. And the word salsa, um, coming from the historians that lived in New York, the New York Ricans and stuff like that, like salsa was referred to Latin jazz. And people would say, hey, can you play some more of that salsa? And so it evolved, you know, with the dancing and stuff like that. It's just amazing. There's so much culture in it. We don't have enough hours in the day to talk about this. But
Right.
like I said, you know, and when that concert, everybody laughed at Ralph Mercado when he did that concert in Yankee Stadium, and he filled the stadium up. And if you look at the video on YouTube, he's walking out of there with these suitcases with money falling out of them. That's how much money they made. You know, and in those times, you know, 50 cents was like $1 million, you know? It's just amazing. And then, you know, as I spent time with that guy that was giving me those records, I learned so much history and stuff like that. For example, like Ray Barretto, when Ralph Mercado wanted him for Fania Records, they caught him in he was broke, didn't have any money. Everybody moved to New York, all these musicians to play music, but you know, it wasn't with the exposure of it and stuff like that. And like I said, with people playing these records and albums in their house, it wasn't it wasn't a thing where you could get, you know, you could go to a concert and get well known or something like that. And they knew he was always hungry, so they got him to sign. He was going to sign at Tico Records, and they waited for him at the bottom of the steps and got him a sub sandwich, and that's how they stole him. It's amazing the history. You know what I mean? Like how all this got started. And there was a real famous jazz station in jazz radio station in New York, and how salsa got its first play on the radio. They would give him money to play 2 hours of salsa on the radio. You know what I mean? When with the jazz, it was a jazz hour, and that's how that name evolved and stuff like that. I mean, it's incredible, and I love the fact that there's people like you that are spreading the word. And I mean, DJing is, and you know, and you DJ all types of music and stuff like that. Like it's a way of life. It's not, you know what I mean? It's a full-time job. You know, we have good days, we have bad days, we have slow days, we have, you know, as DJs, but it's our drive that keeps salsa alive, you know?
Right.
Like,
Right. Well, I think and I'm going to say for myself, I think it's our drive, but honestly, what drives me is them, the people
yeah,
that are that drives me. They're that look on their face. There's, you know, just to see the happiness that comes out
I
from
agree.
that that
Freezing up.
that and smiling, you know, I that's the drug. I see that, you know, and then I says, oh man, I want to give more. I want to give more. I want to give
Yeah.
more. That's the drug that I think us people who are passionate of the music have.
And you know, it is a drug. It's the most contagious drug in the world. It's like when you listen to music and speak through people with music, like it's an art, you know.
Mhm.
And it's not a lot of us around, you know what I mean, that have that drive and stuff like that. And it's, you know, I mean, think about uh how many Tuesday nights you've done in Alameda, you know what I mean? Like it takes discipline. You know what I mean? And it's just incredible. Like people depend on us. You know what I mean? They depend on us, and no matter what type of mood they're in, if they're sad or happy or whatever, it's like we change lives.
Agree.
And it's a privilege to be able to change lives, and people, the support that we get from people is just amazing. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
I agree. It's we become they say the salsa family. We
yeah,
become a huge family and stuff. And I think there's they're the cousins and the brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws that we never had before.
and that's so real in the sense of like we're a family, and our family, what's nice about our family is when you become part of a salsa family, it's like you don't even have to look through the yellow pages when you need to get something done, because people, everybody. You know what I mean? And it's earning people's respect as a DJ through music is a powerful thing. It's a powerful voice. And it's just something that any DJs should never ever take for granted, and always remember where we came from. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like
Correct.
it's humbling in itself when you're playing music or we're at a Congress and people come up and hug you and thank you, and it's just an amazing thing. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. That's for sure.
So the question is, how did we meet?
Say it again.
How did we meet?
From the Chicago Salsa Congress, the first time I went to that Congress, I've just never met anybody like you. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's like I'm biased here in Nebraska because I'm the voice, but your reach you make people feel good. And I met DJs from all over the world, but there's only one DJ Prieto.
Thank you.
And so much knowledge that you have of music, and speaking to people in a language of music and touching people, and just what you do is just amazing. And after meeting you, and I couldn't believe how much you shared with me. You know what I mean? As a DJ, it's not like that in LA. The big DJs there are like Super DJ Ravi, and he's probably one of the biggest, and DJ Kenny, and those are very close friends of mine. And you're just an amazing person, and I've grown so much and learned so much from you. And it's like, as a dancer and instructor, with you playing music in the hallway, it's like I wasn't even interested in. I just couldn't leave. It's like I became a magnet to you. You know what I mean? And like people need to recognize that, like when you meet good people that share the salsa platform with us, you need to embrace, like Chicago needs to embrace you. You are amazing. And
well,
the
they did. They did. It was the last year they gave me the Keeper of the Flame Award. They recognized me in Chicago. So they did.
I think that was an amazing thing. Like our energy when we were together, and after the social dancing's over and we switched to house, and I mean people don't see things like that, and I go to congresses all over the world, and that doesn't exist. You are a tremendous I don't even, it's crazy. I don't even have the word. It's like you were like a normal healthy person, a health nut that drinks milk. You are a staple to the community, and uh, it's amazing. Like there's not many people where I get caught up in my words. You know what I mean? I can't talk,
I appreciate that.
but
Well, I think for the same thing why I'm doing this show. One of the things that I tell every DJ and everybody that comes to the show. So Brendan, I'll give you for instance, and I tell this, and they, if you said you're always working, so you didn't get to see the show. So I'm just going to repeat what I said before. People see you DJ behind the CD players or the laptop, right?
right,
But they don't get to know you. They
right,
don't know your history. They don't know you. And when I decided to do the show, that was part of, I think I'm very open, and
yeah,
I've been open with everybody about my life and everything, and what's going, the good and bad and everything like that. And I think a lot of people know a lot of, let's put it this way. I have a lot of friends that know in and out of me, and I have a lot of strangers that know in and out of me as well, because I relayed that message. But to me, it was like, this world is not just about me. This world has to
right.
be about everybody else that's involved. And if I can open up those branches for other people to hear the stories about you, like you and all the other people that I have on my show, I think that's giving the world the knowledge, just like you said about Ralph Macado. And there's
I
knowledge.
mean, after meeting you and I came back here, it's like I felt like I was in a matrix. You know what I mean? Like you opened so many doors for me, and it's like I can't stop talking about you. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing. I think as DJs, um, to earn people's respect is like as that social dancers don't understand like how much we do on and off the scenes. You know what I mean? When you're not behind the wheels or stuff like that. We you just blew my mind when I seen how many emails you send and stuff like that. And it's, like I said again, it's a way of life. Like we don't, it's not an option. It's all in the routine. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
Okay. No, what I was saying is,
I had to switch over.
okay.
You were saying?
What I was saying is like, people see us in clubs and stuff like that, but they don't have a clue of like the things off the scenes, like the work and the advertising. And you blew my mind when I seen how many emails you send, and and you're such an inspiration, and I learned so much from you, and it's a privilege to be able to share that with other DJs. You know what I mean? I think that's a huge part of it, because you and I both know there's so many people that as DJs that see how connected we are with people and their lives all on and off the dance floor, and they want that, but they don't. You have to put in the work. You know what I mean? You have to grind.
Oh yeah, that's that's the number one, the grind.
Oh my God. When everybody else gets done with the club and they're home and they got their salsa fix, which is a big thing for me. You give people a salsa fix, and a lot of people don't know what a salsa fix is because they never had it. You know what I mean? It takes talent to give somebody a salsa fix, and they can go home and go to sleep and rest, and we're up sending emails, up doing advertising. It's you know, and like I said, what we do is not for everybody. You know,
Well, you're not just a DJ and a teacher, but you're also a promoter as well, right? Yeah,
exactly.
that's one of the. Okay, so I was talking to George Ortega, who's a events coordinator for here in Chicago. He does the Columbian Fest, and he's been in the industry, and he says something that I think is very true about people who are promoters. We're a different breed
Oh yeah,
compared to and what I mean by that is that let's be realistic. As a promoter, you take this risk that the average, because like we don't work a 9 to 5 doing
no,
this. We don't get nothing's guaranteed as far as a paycheck and stuff like that. Promoter, we have to it's got to be planned out, it's got to be looked out, it's got to be, and there's so many obstacles that we're anticipating that's going to happen. And at the same time, we are like, or the gamblers of the scene.
right,
So, and he made that comparison to with the situation with happening right now with the COVID and stuff like that.
right,
And he said, let's look at 9/11, what happened, what happened in E2, what happened in Chicago here with these people getting trampled in the club,
right.
how these obstacles have come up in the nightclub business. And that's what he was saying. He says, so this is just another obstacle that's basically is happening for our scene.
And it's
And
true.
I think, and he said, promoters are a different breed, and we're probably the ones who are going to figure out how to do things differently. And before we got online, I told you what I'm figuring out.
Yeah, my brain is like this. Everything like I've never, you know, and when you get people like us that have been doing in this industry for 15 or 20 years, it's amazing to me that you can instill that it just with some words of some plans that you have and stuff like that, and I can't sleep at night. You know what I mean? I just like
Sorry.
I'll never forget when I met you, and man, it's just like I couldn't turn salsa off. Like, it's incredible. I mean, I'd say
Wait,
I
I
spent
got
more time with you than I danced in 4 salsa congresses. You know what I mean? It's just amazing.
no, but wait. I'm gonna give you one word. One word. They've got your head turning. Kasumba.
That's one of the biggest things for me that I want to say to people in Chicago is that you are an amazing person that loves the music. And I mean, part of our job too, we take the bad, the good and the bad. And, there's always people that want to influence people and have a voice with people like we do, but you have to put in the work, and it takes years. This isn't something that's overnight. You know what I mean? And even as promoters, there's always somebody that has dislikes about things that we do, and we embrace those people. You know what I mean? Like, you have to love everybody. If you can't love everybody, then you'll never be a successful DJ. It's like, you have to be a good listener as well. You know what I mean? And listen to people, and it's just amazing. Like, you took me to a whole nother level, and it's just like you put me in a different place, and it's crazy because I don't have the words to explain it, but it's just like, when as a DJ and as an instructor and as somebody that travels all around the world dancing and DJing and everything, to have somebody, to meet somebody that inspires you as a DJ to do better and to do good things and opens you up to where you can never shut it off. You know, I laugh so much after meeting you, and you know, after the clubs are over, after our weekly events are over, and me and you are always online. You know what I mean? It's insane. You know, it's like I said, it to me it's not a it's not it would I would never categorize it as a job. I categorize it as art and the drive. That's the biggest thing for me is the drive. When you fail, you keep pushing, you keep moving, you try new things, you listen to what people have to say, and you try to let everybody know that you appreciate them with music. What you do as a DJ is an art.
Right.
Reaching people. I've seen people in Chicago, they done dance all night, put their jacket on. His girlfriend's got her hands on her hip, and she's ready to go. And you play a song and make her take her coat off. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
amazing, amazing.
Well, I mean I think that just has a lot to do with just watching the I tell there's no secret in it, man, because a lot of it is psychology.
Yeah,
That's really what it is. It's psychology, and you know, and let's be honest with you, the psychology of making people happy is what we're trying to instill in, because you know, making somebody happy has different ways of doing it. It could be by sight, could be by smell, could be by hearing, could be, you know, by feeling, could be all those are the different psychologies of making people happy, and music obviously is going to have but you know, that then you wonder why I do the videos, right? So there's a
right.
visual aspect as well. So
I
that's
mean,
that's
sometimes I'm scared to see you because I know that there's going to be something new that's going to blow my mind. It's just amazing, and it never fails.
that's
Never fails. You know, I'm gonna tell you, like when I started teaching in like 2005 and went to LA and everybody embraced me like the cream of the crop. Albert Torres is definitely as a promoter,
God rest his
I could
soul.
say one of the most successful promoters.
Right.
And he embraced me, didn't even know me, um, took me around, showed me the game, the industry, the clubs, everything. And when I met you, it's just, I mean, you're the only two people that I've ever met in my life, you know what I mean, that are so open, you know? A lot of people uh, that think they're successful in this industry of music and dance, um, they're they're not open and they don't want to share things. And what I'm gonna say about that to DJs is if we don't share our knowledge and our culture and everything we know about what we're doing, it won't survive. You know what I mean? Like that's a big part of it. It's like for me, when I see you, I see like a farmer planting seeds. You know what I mean? And it's so important. You know, I can't find the words to thank you enough for everything you've done for me. And you know, your reach is amazing. You know what I mean? Like you help make things better here, and I talk about you and it inspires somebody else, and people, you know, do things. And like I said, the biggest thing with DJs is you have to be a listener. You know what I mean? You have to listen to people, and you have to be able to take criticism. You know, we got tough skin, we got leather skin, brother. You know what I mean? I mean, it's amazing, you know? And when people from different countries and different states come up and speak to us and praise us for the music that we embrace them with and stuff like that. Like it always, when we have our ups and downs, our successes and our losses, because we take losses, tremendous losses, but that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean? Like I initially came to that Congress because Chicago for the first time, because as an instructor, you have these ruts, you know what I mean? Where you're as a social dancer and DJ and everything, sometimes I have these moments where I feel like people don't appreciate us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you go out of town and you raise my spirits, you know what I mean, to the 50th power, and that makes me come back and go harder than I've ever gone before. And it's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, Chicago is very lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. And especially when we partied to what, 7 o'clock in the
Oh
morning?
my God.
We didn't stop. We just
And then it's like, when we separate and I'm going up to go to sleep because I'm going to take this workshop, and you're like a drug. Like I can't sleep. I can't, you know what I mean? It's like you feel like you have to prepare yourself for what you're gonna say next or what you're gonna do next. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
well, I remember there was you were asking these technical and technical questions you were asking. You were asking about the music aspect of it as well. There was a combination of different things that was going on, and obviously the business aspect of it with the marketing and stuff like that.
right.
So I was giving you knowledge, basically opening the doors to
Like
a
I
whole.
left Chicago and the top of my head was completely blown off. Like you affected my next 2 weeks after that. I mean, that's real. Like, a lot of people don't experience that DJ to DJ. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when I do have the opportunities, just once or twice when I go to LA and I'm with DJ Kenny, they're way different than us. Like, if you want some music from them, you got to give them something they ain't got, and that is hard. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like we're just exchanging music. Nope, I got that. It's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you blew my mind. You changed for me as a DJ. You change the direction and the perspective of DJing. It's just, yeah, I mean, and even what's funny is even to this day, it's like there's so many things that you taught me that it's like I don't have in my lifetime I can't catch. You know what I mean? I can't do it all. You know what I mean? It's just insane. It's insane.
Well, Brandon, let's be fair. I've been doing this a lot longer than you have. So
Yeah, but I mean, I got my little 20 years.
So I mean, there's also the fact that I have a tenure that's like twice as long as you and stuff like So I'm going to give you knowledge and I think in going forward, even to this point, I've always said this that it doesn't stop with me.
Right.
This has to carry on to the next generation that's going to be out there, because there's going to be a next generation coming out there. I'm going to be, I'm an old man, but I'm going to be the older man, and there's got to be someone that's going to have to take, my spot, and someone, and continue.
My salsa sensei, Francisco Vasquez. It's like, I look at you like that, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's really mind-blowing, like him as a dancer, he can dance anything. And it's just like you, like your knowledge and skill level of DJing all genres of music, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's not too many people like that. You know what I mean? And people need to recognize, respect, and take the time to get to know you and learn. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't like to learn. You know what I mean? Like there's about the hate in our industry and
Oh yeah, I know, and to me, and to me, let's just talk about that hate, because there's different forms of hate, but there is hate,
right,
and I think it surrounds itself to what's going on right now in the world. They throw the word hate, and they use it like they think it's a weapon.
yeah,
And this is, people, it's not that serious in the sense of,
no,
to use it as a weapon. You may not like something, which is fine.
right,
Everybody can have that. Don't like something. God, voice your opinion. Don't, hey, and I'm talking about DJing. I'm not talking about,
right,
but it applies to everything else. You don't like the way I wear my pants. You don't like the way I wear my shirt. You don't like the way I play this music. You don't like my choices. You can look, you don't have to like anything, right? But I tell people all the time, I don't want you ever to like me. I want you to love me. That's
exactly,
it. And that's the point, because you know what? And I got to tell you something. This is a true life story. I learned, and I learned that really young when I was selling men's clothing business. And I learned it from something happening bad twice. I was a salesman. I went up to a customer who was, he wasn't Latino. Let's put it that way. He wasn't Latino. And he looked at me up and down because I was Latino. He kind of looked at me like,
right,
okay. And I remember this. And I asked him, hello, sir, how you doing? This was selling at Sigil Menswear. Now, these are $1,000 suits. These are
right,
Armani, Versace, Donna Karan. So the
right,
guy's there, he looked like a young lawyer. And he says, how you doing, sir? How you doing? I says, my name is Angelo. Can I help you? And he looked at me up and down. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Well,
right,
you get a little inferior about that. So yeah, and the owner, Sid, old Jewish owner, he was come on, pushing me to help the guy.
right,
So then I asked, hey, hey, we got a bunch of new suits and stuff like that. And he said to me, like really terrible. And he says, listen, if I need help from your kind, I'll ask. And right away, I was like, okay. So right away, I'm defensive. I get mad. I says, what do you mean? My kind, and
right,
and Sid hears me, and he's like, runs up to me and goes, hey, go back, go in the back and stuff like that. And he's apologizing to the customer. And I was like, what are you apologizing to
yeah,
him? The guy insulted
exactly,
me, and I was really upset. I go, no. And then Sid turns around and says, that was your opportunity. I go,
yep,
what do you mean it was my opportunity? I didn't understand at that point or something. So I never got it when it was happening. I was grumbling. I
right,
was angry. So probably about, I want to say 6 years later, kind of the same situation happened. And a guy walked in, young,
right,
I think he was a lawyer.
right,
So, how you doing? My name is Angelo. And he did the kind of same thing, looked me up and down, and and he walked away. So, and Sid is watching me again, and Sid is like does this thing where he's trying to push me, and he tells me, talk to him. And I try to talk to him again, and he kind of said in so many words, like it bait insult. And I turned around and said, listen, let's be honest with you. What are you doing here? You're on your lunch? Hey, I'm here for a reason. let me entertain you. Let me just,
Right.
you know, I know you're looking around and you're checking out things, and you probably are wondering why these are, you know, European sizing this. So I go, but for example, man, look, I know you're the 40 regular here. I'm going to show you something. Let me just show you something. Let me entertain you. So I grab
Right.
the coat off, and I put this suit on, and I start talking about the suit, start talking about, when it was all said and done, he bought 3 suits, spent about $5,000 for me. Okay. And that was the end of the bill.
Right.
So what I learned is that somebody could not like you, or somebody could, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Somebody walks in and says, I want a suit. You get them a suit they want. They walk out the store, they got the suit. Guess what? You satisfied them.
Exactly.
It's the guy that doesn't like you or that hates on you. You make them love you, not just like you, because
You
there's
know,
a difference.
when, like here, when I first started dancing with Solana and meeting her and stuff like that, she couldn't understand why I hug and kiss the people that don't like me and talk bad about me and everything like that. And the biggest thing I can say about that is, in the industry of dance and DJing and everything, is part of our job is that we do through music is embracing people and changing their perspective. You know what I mean? And that is just that's a talent. And if everybody had those talents, the world would not be like it is today, you know?
I
Like,
agree 1,000%, because right now the world needs it, and you know, and everything else that's going on right now with
I
the
I look at, like, when I sit back and look at the things that I've done, where there's generations of falsettos, where I have people that have gotten married and have children, and they met at my events and stuff like that. And when they live out of town and they come back just because they need that fix, like, you know, that's a blessing. And it just makes you want to share your talent and share your music and share your knowledge about dance with everybody. And it speaks for itself. That's what I could say is that we lead by examples. You know what I mean? And there needs to be a lot more of that in the industry with DJs and stuff like that. The Shazammers, right? The sound hounders. Got his face turned up looking at you, but he's Shazamming your music. You know what I mean? And for me, you know, like, I'm embracing that person. I'm not going to dislike that person or have something bad to say. Same with DJs and instructors and everything. I always say, as a DJ, when people ask me for my opinion on a DJ or instructor, I say that we are all good at what we do. And it's the truth. What you do, you're good at. You know what I mean? Like, when I first came here, the dance community was so divided, you know, from people with the ballroom model. Like, if you take lessons in this studio, you shouldn't associate with people from this studio, and you shouldn't dance at this social. And the first studio I was in, there was probably 8 or 9 instructors, and we're sitting at the table and they're looking at me like I have AIDS, right? And they're like, you know, because he just had to have a meeting. And it's like, this isn't a competition, people. Wake up. We're all good at what we do. Do what you're good at. You know what I mean? Like, do what you're good at. If you're good at waltz, be good at waltz. Know your limitations, you know? But we're all here for the same goal of making social dancers. And we can't do that if we're divided. We have to stand united. You don't have to love me. You don't have to like me. But we stand as a front. The more people that see us and interacting together and dancing and sharing our passion with each other's students and stuff like that, that's what it's all about. You will not, as an instructor or a DJ, you will not grow if you can't embrace the other person that's DJing or the other instructor that's teaching. Like
Well,
you can't do
and,
it.
and I think the message, and I know we're going to be winding up pretty soon. It's been an hour. One of the things that I honestly believe that after all this is said and done, between what's going on with the riots, going on with the COVID, I honestly believe that music is going to bring people together. I think that's
does.
good. I think that's the healing. That's going to be the glue to bring these people together. And then whatever the music is, I'm not just saying
Right.
just salsa. I'm talking
Right.
music all across the board. I think it has, there's an old house cut called "Music is the Key," and that's kind of the what you call it, was talking to George Ortega with the, he was talking about the no bigger than negra, and all the music that has this influence of bringing people together. I think that's always been the case for anything that goes wrong in this world.
I mean, when you think about it, as a DJ, music is the only thing that doesn't lie to us or disappoint us. You know what I mean? I mean, that's real. We're surrounded by people. We get disappointed. People hurt our feelings. We have feelings too, right? But music does not disappoint us. I think it makes us better individuals.
Yep.
I really do. It's just like I said, you have a gift, and you have like just opened me up to so many opportunities and ideas. And like it takes, as a DJ, it takes a man to recognize and appreciate that and share that with other people. You know what I mean? Like I have nothing but love for you. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And even, I've been there quite a few congresses and everything. And that love that you give me, I love to hear somebody say they don't like you. I'm like, you got the game wrong. You know what I mean? Like, how can you not like him?
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing, and I'm like, this dude is embracing everybody here. There's no negative energy in this corner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's
Well, I think people kind of realize that since I've been doing the that booth outside it's crazy because there you have the 3 rooms that are having with your Congress, and I have the booth on the outside of it. So I don't even, and I tell everybody, I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I'm doing my own.
I mean, think about that. When people have danced for 12 or 13 hours with workshops and then the social dancing, and you don't even want to hear the word salsa, and people are walking out of that room with their shoes in their hands, and you make those people put those shoes back on. It's just, and you really blew my mind when you said, hey, let's play something other than salsa. And we turn that. I've never seen a Congress, and I've been all over. There's nothing like your vocabulary and your reach is endless, and to be able to, like I said, like that was so touching to me that, even when we change genres of music, our vibe together is just like magnets, Right. Oh, watch what happens when you play this. Oh, wait till I play this. And, and that's what I think I would love to see that at more congresses and stuff like that around the world, recognizing, as DJs, recognizing that people are tired and stuff like that, and change it up and give them something else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, it's a raw talent. You know what I mean? And I mean, we need to do another one of these. I still show people that video of that hallway. There was more people in that hallway than it was on the social dance floor. Wall to wall. You remember that? And you know, that's the thing for us is like looking back and seeing the vibe that we give people, you know what I mean?
All right.
Dancers that don't communicate with one another, and we bring, here's what I'm gonna say, we bring unity through dance,
Yep. Agree.
you know,
Agree.
and for all DJs, dancers, instructors, artists, embrace people, get to know people,
Yep.
and share your passion, because game recognizes game. We know who the haters are. Embrace them.
Yep.
You should see the people that cringe when they come into my events that don't like me and talk bad about me, and I buy them a drink and give them a hug, and they just cringing. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
that's what it's all about. For as us as a dance community around the world, like embracing extends the reach of our culture as dancers and DJs, and people it needs to be a lot more of it, you know. I go all over and I see so many cliques and you know, as dancers and stuff like that, like you have to embrace people. Like I've never seen anybody humble like you are, other than Albert Torres. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like it's
God,
amazing.
hey, thank you for putting him in the same level. God,
And that's 100. You know what I mean? Like
thank you.
to me, that speaks volume. You know what I mean? And that makes me want to be a better person at what I do. You know, and like I said, if you don't even have to open your mouth, you can feel it. You know what I mean? And people need to know that and recognize that. You know, you hit me in so many ways. Like it's just insane. Like I can't tell you, like, to have where you've been up, and you know, I drove for 9-10. I worked like I did today, and then got off work and drove there, and my partner's talking about she's tired and everything, and she meets you, and it's like we're not sleeping. You know what I mean? It's like that's, again, that's just a tremendous talent where you take people that are just worn out and tired, and you make them come alive inside. You know what I mean? And it's just an amazing thing. And like I said, you know, I will preach till the day I die about you. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
boy,
Thank you.
if there was a Prieto in every state, like salsa would be amazing. You know what I mean? It's just like, you
Well,
know,
that's my goal. Honestly, that's my goal. I want a Prieto in every state. Honestly, you know,
man,
I'll tell you, because that's what I would love. I would love, because I know where this has to go.
Yeah.
And wherever it's got to go. You know, and it's you know, and let's not just use the salsa, okay?
right.
I'm talking about music as and the reason why I think we can say salsa, but not just salsa, is because salsa has a lot of obstacles, because it's not on all the radio stations. It's not
Right.
pop and stuff like that. It's technically underground, and it's in a lot of places, other than if you go East Coast or West Coast. But if it, you know, pretty much Midwest and everything else, you know, sometimes
I also believe that a huge part of our talents as DJs too is having that reach in other genres of music and being able to reach other people. Like I can't even fathom the words how the fabric that you're weaving, you know what I mean, when you can touch people in all different genres of music. I think it brings us closer together. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. That, you know, that's all part of the music, and that's why I said that music is the key. I think that's one of the things. So, Blandon, thank you very much. Any last words to customers or the people that are listening or watching the show? Because I know you got a lot of people from your neck of the woods.
The movement. Represent DJ Prieto is the biggest thing I'm gonna say. Like, get over yourselves. You know what I mean? Like, embrace people that are caring and sharing and preaching the word. There's not a lot of people like us that preach the word. Like, negativity does not stop us. It makes us better, and it extends our reach. And like, support the social venues. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard, you know, and with social venues, and then, you know, and I know you have the same thing like me. You know, you look at somebody that isn't a fan of you, and they're trying to do, you got 7 days. This is something else I tell DJs and instructors. There's 7 days a week. Me, I always look for the night that people aren't doing anything to try to turn it into something good, right? And it just amazes me the amount of people that haven't put in the time, haven't shedded that blood, haven't been in the trenches, you know, that want to, and we give them knowledge and help them, right? And show them the ways of Facebook, show them the ways of social media, show them the ways of advertising, show them the ways of promoting. Nothing but love. And they open up that venue on your night and it's not successful, and they're upset with you. Like, that's mind blowing. You know what I'm talking about.
The story of my life.
You know, and you know, it's just amazing. Like, recognize there's 7 days a week. Like, we should have social dancing and venues 7 days a week. And the reason we don't is because people are so close-minded and they're not willing to.
All right. So I got a question for you. I have a question for you. Because
Sure.
I hear you mention social dancing, and there's quite a few people that are on my reach that are musicians, live musicians. So do you guys have live music out there? Do you guys have bands or anything? Salsa bands? Or do you bring in salsa bands for?
We do, and I promoted a tremendous band and stuff like that. But like I said, you know, it's our biggest downfall as artists and musicians and DJs is that thing is not liking to see somebody else successful. And it's I just can't find the words. Like, if, you know, share and embrace everybody, support the people you don't like, go to their socials. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest thing is with, even with the music. And I'll never forget that. I've never met so many artists in my life. I've met more artists standing in your DJ booth than I have in salsa congresses. It's insane, you know? And that speaks volumes. Like, people embrace good people, you know what I mean? And people need to open their eyes.
Well,
you
whenever you're ready, I know there's a bunch of bands here that are willing to go over there. So, you know, whenever you're ready, because, you know, we have some really great musicians here and stuff like that. I mean,
amazing.
I mean, and you know, I know Angel A-Rod is online right now, and I know that we talked about it. We talked about, you know, because I think that's also, you know, a big part of Chicago. We're not New York, we're not, you know, Miami, and we're not Los Angeles. Okay, so we are Midwest and stuff like that. And you know, you drive out here and stuff like that. And I know that we talk about it because I think the furthest that people come from is Milwaukee, because there's bands out there, you know, Mas, Augusta Mas, and, you know, Naburi comes out there, and there's a couple bands from Indiana that come up here. But I would love to see more bands from Chicago coming to, you know, expanding their reach and stuff like that. And so, you know,
you just have to give it to me in small doses. You know, well, you put some shit on my mind. It's just insane. You know what I mean? Like, where I can't think straight. It's crazy. But definitely, I would say that's something that we need to do next. You know what I mean?
I think for the next step, because of what's going on with the COVID,
Yes.
and the social distancing, I think this may be an opportunity for this kind of thing, because, you know, doing live music might be, you know, you know, like what I told you that I'm going to do.
Right.
I think with live music, it tends to be a little different than a DJ. And one of the
Yes.
things that if you notice that I work hand in hand with live music and DJs and stuff like that, and I rotated a lot, because I have an advantage because there's a lot more musicians here than there are probably in
Yes.
other.
And I would say this too, like far as, and I mean, this is when I, as with bands, like the bands that we have had here have all been capital S for me when we talk about salsa, like top notch, just amazing talents blended together and stuff like that. And I hope the people in Chicago understand that too. Like when you have a musician that is singing capital S salsa, and you have a DJ like yourself that is, I would say that's the most difficult skill there is to be able to recognize what you need to play after that band is off set and stuff like that. Like that's another talent, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. Like, more people need to come to Chicago and see what dancing, venues, music, like what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's like, for those that are listening, Prieto is la palabra, the voice. And people need to recognize, you know what I mean? It'll make you a better person knowing him. You know what I mean? It's real.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Real.
Hey, Brandon, thank you very much, Brandon. Thank you very much for everything you said, and my heart goes out to you out there. I appreciate everything you said tonight. And guys, this is the Front Door Show. As I said, we do this every day, 8 o'clock. And stay in line, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit more. All right, guys, thank you very much. Good night.
Okay.